crowd players, make a foul, gives them a chance, they get back, they get set again, and they go from there. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
That's been your job down the years, hasn't it?
It's been my job. It's still my job, though, to be honest. yeah. No, but I think that's
You're not going to let players go past about going to Old Trafford anymore. That's what Pep Guardiola said this week. What a problem for Manchester United. Win here, and they almost certainly hand Liverpool the title. It's one of two that we have live this evening on our beIN Sports channels. The Manchester Derby stakes could not be higher from City's point of view. Must win. 4K coverage available if you have that facility. beIN Sports 1 if you're with us in Indonesia. Also playing tonight, Wolves against Arsenal. beIN Sports 3 in Indonesia if you want to watch that in its entirety. But of course we will share with you here on these channels anything that's happening at Molineux once we get started. There we are. United, of course, got their own issues to concern themselves about, as well as in the back of their minds thinking about Liverpool. But they need points to qualify for the Champions League, and at the moment, as you can see, they are off the pace. As for City, this the game in hand. Win it, they go 1 point clear. Anything else, it's back in Liverpool's hands. Gus Poyet and Nigel de Jong join us this evening. Nigel, who was part of the most dramatic finish 2012. Gus knows his way around and has played in many big matches like this. But team news is significant, and United have made 4 changes. Can you get us up to speed straight away? 5 changes.
5 changes altogether, Richard. So he's really, after that depressing performance that they had against Everton at the weekend, and it looks like there's a change of system as well. Out go Jones, Dalot, Nemanja Matic, Anthony Martial and Romelu Lukaku, and in come Darmian, Shaw, Young, Jesse Lingard and Pereira, and it looks like they're going to go with a 5 at the back, Shaw and Young as the wing backs, Pereira, Fred and Pogba as a 3 tight midfield, and with the two moving, well, they've got a very mobile front two there in Lingard and Rashford. So change of system, change of players. 5 of the 10 outfield players changed. Big shout, big call from them. Fewer changes, but what's interesting about this, I looked at who he's brought in. 3 changes, and the 3 players he's brought in, all of them are 33 years of age, and they all missed the last game. So I wonder if he took a gamble against Spurs, and they left out Kompany, left out David Silva, and they left out Fernandinho. They're all back tonight. I think he knows, I think Pep knows if he wins this tonight, I think he thinks he'll win the title. So they're all back, and Stones, De Bruyne obviously injured, and Phil Foden, who got that very important goal, are all out, and the 3 very big players are back in for them.
One obvious omission, Kevin De Bruyne, but otherwise, Nigel, that's as good as it gets for City right now, isn't it?
I think so, yeah, of course. I mean, they got a fantastic bench, and that's why they can they rotate their players as well when you have midweek performances and midweek games. But still, for me, the most surprising is also Leroy Sané still on the bench. You know, for me, he's such an exciting player. In this game, I would play him. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's the problem. And then we go again. Yeah, but that's the nice thing that Guardiola has. But obvious, they got a fantastic squad, and I think what Andy said as well, they go for experience, because I think Pep knows after this game, I don't see them losing any points.
Have you quietly been in touch with anybody this week?
Yeah, I've been.
Have you?
I've been quietly.
He's been quiet.
I haven't been quiet. I gave it to them though, to be honest, because at the end of the day, I'm still a Blue. You know, I love my time out there, and I always keep supporting the City. So no, they know they got to win this game.
And what feeling do you get back, that they're confident?
Oh, they're confident. Yeah, they're confident. I mean, you know, when you win these last 4 games, you know, they have so many wins back to back. Obvious that was a disappointment against Tottenham. That was a big disappointment. But at the other day, they know what they play for, and that's the Premier League. So they're really confident. They showed it to me, they said it to me as well, so let's hope and see that they're going to get a win at Old Trafford.
Gustavo, 5 changes then for Manchester United, and it would appear a change of system. Is that a reaction of a desperate man after what happened at Everton?
Well, I think it's a reaction. He needed to make decisions. Because after the game, the only thing I'm surprised about, I'm not surprised about the changing of system if they play 5, because against Man City, you need, it's very difficult to play with 4, isolate the wide players. But I wasn't surprised that Fred is back in the middle. He took him off at half-time the other day. I thought either was injured or he was not happy with him about his performance. And in this game, what it means for everyone in the Premier League, to be, him playing. Well, we talk about the experience. Man City go for experience, and Matic is.
And of course, we expect a different game, equal, tough, but different. So we have to be ready and adapt to all the circumstances.
Well, on our number of team changes today, including no Aubameyang, what is the problem with him?
Good evening. He has had a small operation in his face. It's for a few days only, but he needs to do quickly as possible. And it's not today, but we have another player ready to play, and we are. I think we can be consistent with these 18 players.
And with the number of games, is that the reason for the number of changes, the number of games you've had?
We changed some players, but using a lot of players, we played with them with different systems also, and we need the first 11. We need the player with their impact after the bench, and to do the best possible here against one team. They are very strong here at home with the supporter, and also very organized team. They are with very big confidence playing and good players. It's, I think, a big match, and for us a big challenge, but we are confident in our possibility, and also this great opportunity for us is to do all possible we can today in 90 minutes.
How has he done, Gus, this year?
I think he done well. I think it was always a difficult job. After a manager has been there so long, he's been trying to find his way. I think it's been a little bit difficult because he trusted a lot, especially the backs, some of the central defenders, and he didn't get what he was expecting from them. And he found it very difficult to play the two strikers together. I think his first idea was always to play 3 at the back or 5. To be able to play the 2 up front, and never trusted that 4-4-2. So then he had to change to the 4-3-3, and then he never really kept going back. The worrying is Arsenal as a team, group of players on the pitch away from home. Because we can prepare, I'm telling you, everything. But at the end of the day, you are in the hands of the players. And we can go back to the game Man City-Tottenham. After 20 minutes, I don't think the manager had any impact in that game. No. They were 2-2 or 3-2. That's up to the players. The quality and the understanding and how good you are. And Arsenal this year has been Ozil in, out, I don't know how many times. Ramsey, probably the best player, leaving. Not 2 strikers together. So many things that they didn't go for him. But overall, I think if he gets into the Champions League, it's going to be amazing what he done.
I agree. Serious. I think he's done really well. It's not easy to take over a team that's won the title. We've seen that with United. Fergie left, won the title, left. No one's been able to get anywhere near it since. And when he took over from Arsenal, I think there was a lot of people thought, no, he's going to take time. This is taking ages. And I didn't expect him to be so close to the Champions League as they are. I think he's done really well.
Our main game this evening here on HD11 in the Middle East and North Africa, beIN Sports 1 in Indonesia, and there is 4K coverage available if you have that facility, is the Manchester derby. United with Champions League points on their minds, Manchester City with a title to think about, and at Old Trafford for us is beIN Sports' Matt Critchley.
Evening all, welcome to Old Trafford. We've had it just about all already tonight. Thunder, lightning, rain, storms. We just wonder what the forthcoming 90 minutes will hold. Once again, our co-commentator Jim Beglin is alongside me. Jim, first of all, can I just reflect on Sunday? Going back to your own playing career, have you ever gone out with the intention of not giving 100% effort?
No. I mean, unless we were on some jolly or a testimonial game, and then it was kind of accepted that we could ease off a little bit. But never like that, no. I was shocked by it. I mean, I said it in commentary, anybody that heard. I don't know what overcame Manchester United. I don't know what happened. We spoke about Solskjaer and his criticism of those who dropped their intensity just before kick-off, and it happened again, and it shouldn't. So I'd be amazed if there's anything like that again tonight. There has to be the response. What they can get out of that response, that's another matter.
Well, the response from the manager is 5 changes. That's wielding the axe, isn't it? Because that says to many of the players, although not all of them that were culpable on Sunday, that won't be accepted. But how do you recover from that? How do you change the mindset in such a short space of time?
Because this club demands it, and it's just the way it is. When you have a manager that has to go and apologise, and you've got some of the senior players that come out likewise on social media, then you know it's going to be stirred a little bit. I think what he's trying to do tonight is he's setting a team up to try and absorb. He's trying to nullify what they can do in the wide positions with Bernardo Silva and Sterling, and I also think that Fred and Andreas Pereira might be in there in the centre of midfield just to try and deal with Gundogan and indeed David Silva. Yeah. So I think it's almost going back to Mourinho-like tactics. I think he might be kind of going for a one-on-one thing just to try and stifle Manchester City. Not easy.
Just finally, the great Liverpool team that you played for, did you ever consider tactical fouls? Because that's something that's been talked about over the past couple of days. It's something that Pep Guardiola wasn't happy about when mentioned in his press conference yesterday. But was it a part of your game, bringing somebody down, a little foul at the right moment to stop their rhythm?
It got mentioned from time to time, yes. And I mean, I can remember on occasion when I knew I was caught and I've got myself in the wrong position, you just do things like that and you're prepared to take a card for things like that. Yes, that can happen.
Part of the game. Not a problem with that. I mean, Fernandinho is the one that's more often than not culpable.
Yeah, Fernandinho, I'm not surprised to see him back in tonight, and company, those boys know what they're doing, and if it comes to the likes of that, then they just get it done. Tactical fouls are part of it.
Yeah, whether Pep Guardiola likes it or not, I think he's not just necessarily keen to admit it. They have a wonderful record here in recent times, Manchester City. 5 wins from the last 7 trips to Old Trafford, hoping to go the same again this evening.
Let's put that point to Graham Souness, Matt, by the way, talking about patrolling and fouling tactically in midfield. Guardiola with Michael Laudrup.
Yeah.
It's a game for the rest
Jan
of the world.
as well,
Big Jan
there. Jan to the left there, yeah.
You see, Matt said there of Fernandinho, Nigel, culpable, he used the word. But I think we want to look at that slightly differently, don't we? Professional is the word, surely.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you got to be a professional. All the players who are standing on the pitch are
Peter
professional.
Schmeichel, by the way, sorry.
Yeah. A couple of legends, just a couple of legends. No worries. Good trophy cabinet there as well.
But I go back to the point I made earlier. You're not, if you're in a position where a team are breaking on you, you're not going to let people run past.
Of course, that's part of the game. I mean, nowadays we put everything under a radar, you know, just to see and look about what football is, how to play football nowadays. I mean, me as a defensive midfielder, my job was just to make sure that the opponent wasn't passing me. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things that Fernandinho is also to put in now in the City squad, just to hold and break plays.
You know, if you play against a team, Richard, that loves to pass the football about and get the rhythm up and get the pace of the game up, the one thing you would say to your team is break the game up as much as you can. You know, all over the pitch. Say City, for instance, they're wonderful. If you let them flow and their passing is good and their movement is great, they're really hard to contain. So if you break the play up as often as you can, then it upsets their rhythm, or you hope upsets their rhythm a little bit more than it might. There's absolutely nothing wrong with all these things. Look at Gus went to a game last night, right, where a team just went bang, whoosh, 11 players back behind the ball.
Did what?
11 players back.
Bang.
Behind the ball. They did that as well. They did. But they just went. They said,
technical.
We're not interested in winning this game. But what we're going to do is make life really hard for you, and we don't care how we do it. We'll fight and scrap, and they did that brilliantly for 88 minutes and got caught out once. So why should they apologise for that? Do people want Brighton to go there, open up and get beat 6-0? No.
The second half of Burnley. Yes. I said the other day.
Yeah.
I think the game play was 50 minutes from 45. Every time it was a 50-50, every time it was a goal kick, every time it was a throw-in, every time it was a foul. I think it's part of the game, and credit to Burnley.
Now, this in many respects the ultimate nightmare for a Manchester United fan. Of course they want to see a performance from their own team, but if you're active on social media, you know there's a fair deal of support out there for Manchester City. United win this, chances are Liverpool go on and take the title off them. Lose this, you're handing it to your nearest rivals, the noisy neighbours. So what actually do United fans want from this evening? Matt Critchley has been finding out.
The question is, do you actually want United to win today?
Of course. Of course.
Is it just a simple one?
Yeah, straight up.
Because there are some United fans arriving here today who are not quite sure because of the repercussions of what a win would do in terms of Liverpool winning the league.
Yeah, I'm not a Liverpool fan. I'm not a Liverpool fan, Man City fan, I'm a United fan. I couldn't care less about them. It's all about top four. Never mind about them.
Just got to focus on your own job.
Always. Definitely, yeah.
Paul Pogba, what would you do? Keep him or sell him?
I would sell him in a heartbeat, yeah.
Why?
Why? Because he trots about the pitch. I've said it to my mates before. If he had Kante's ability at Chelsea, he would his work rate, he would no doubt be the best player in the world. But he doesn't have the work rate. He has the ability, but he just doesn't show the work rate. And you know, he's playing against bang average midfielders in Idris Gueye, and he's getting bossed all day. So if we're going to get 120 million for him in the summer, take it. We go get 2 marquee players and we rebuild. I think that's the only thing we can do.
But maybe not an obvious answer. Do you actually want United to win tonight?
No.
Why?
Because I'm a Manchester City supporter.
That was class. Brilliant. That was class. Brilliant. Sensational.
We all took a breath, didn't we?
Yeah.
Really?
That was very good.
But there are, for me, Andy, you look back through the history of the Premier League, there's been a number of different scenarios like this. 95, I think, comes to mind. Blackburn, Liverpool. Manchester United at Upton Park. If Liverpool beat Blackburn and United win, didn't happen. But you've got to set out looking after your own affairs, surely.
Listen, if City falter tonight and lose the title, it won't be because of what happens tonight. It will be because Liverpool have been absolutely sensational this season. And so far, have lost one Premier League game. Unbelievable, Richard. So, United can only go and deal with their own. Absolutely deal with their own. It must be difficult because the history of these 3 clubs shows us that the rivalry between United and Liverpool is the most fierce of all in the English Premier League. When Fergie arrived way back then and says, I'm going to knock these people off their perch, he was talking about Liverpool. He did. Man United fans have loved that. They don't want Liverpool getting any closer to them now. They don't. But they're not going to come out publicly and tell you that.
Gus, just referring back to what the gentleman there said about selling Pogba for 120 million. All of a sudden, it's the players that are getting in the neck at Manchester United, and the consensus seems to be, well, get rid, make some changes, bring in a war chest. But who's going to buy these players that aren't good enough to wear the Manchester United jersey? Is Pogba really going to leave for 120 million?
I don't know. What I'm surprised is that if you see him playing for the national team with France, it's another person. But I'm telling you, I watched him when I was in France, and it's another person, it's another player. It's like he's so confident, he's so relaxed, he participates, got the freedom because Kante is next to him. He leans well with the play. It's like he's at home. And when I see him play for Man United, it's like he doesn't want to be there.
He's cramped.
Well, allegedly, depends what paper you read, told his teammates he's off at the end of the season anyway. But I just wonder who it is that's going to spend all this money on these players that aren't fit to wear a United jersey.
It's hard. It's hard. For me, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm having the same thought as well. Which club now in the European top would take Pogba for 120 million?
Martial.
If you have the 120 million, would you go for Pogba or would you go for another player for that kind of money? If you look at Ajax, the players that go there, if you see, it doesn't matter. But who go there? He got a miracle agent, so I think he will figure it out.
But who's buying Martial? Who's buying Jones, who's just signed a new 4-year contract? They say get rid of Young? What's that going to bring in? I mean, I having shattered the reputation of many of these boys, and to a large extent, Andy, they've done it themselves. Where's the war chest? I just don't see it.
Listen, it's easy to say let's get rid of 6 and let's bring 6 in. I've said, I think I was talking to somebody yesterday, I said if I'm at Manchester United and I've got 3 years of a deal left and I'm on £250,000 a week, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comes to me and he says, Andy, by the way, we've agreed a deal, you're off to wherever, and you're only going to get 125,000. Am I? Well, I ain't going anywhere. Right?
It's not
simple. So unless you make life better, players who are on 3 or 4 year contracts at United, hold all the cards, Richard. Unless United pay their contracts up, they're not going anywhere. No. They're not going anywhere. So that's the difficulty. It's going to cost United a lot of money if they're trying to get rid of people with 2, 3 and 4 years left in their contract. A lot of money.
We are live this evening at Old Trafford for the most eagerly anticipated Manchester derby for me in recent memory. Stakes are so high. United need points for Champions League qualification. Manchester City simply have to win it. Have to win it. Nothing else will do. And it's live with us on beIN Sports.
Once more, a city is divided by its colours. You are a red, or you are a blue. Spiky, tribal, charged. City to celebrate, or United to spoil.
Didn't cover himself in glory on Sunday against Everton. Do you have any concerns about him at the moment?
No, none whatsoever. Everyone makes mistakes, and the one in Barcelona, it's just what happens, and that it's the only explanation there is. It's what happens, and you can't explain it. Now, he's a goalkeeper that he's not very well protected, and he hasn't been for many, many years. And he's a player of the year 4 times consecutive, 4 years running, right? Yeah. 4 consecutive years, and you know, not being protected makes it, you know, the goalkeeping so much difficult, more difficult. I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper, and I'm happy that he's here. He's warming up over there. He's a strong character, mentally very, very, very strong. He won't be faced by what you call mistakes. He will see this as a new game, and that's a kind of mentality and the mindset that you need to have as a goalkeeper. So no, I'm not worried about him at all.
Still, when you look at United defensively and their defensive unit, how do you feel about it when you compare it to the great players you played behind?
Well, you have to go back to the season 77-78 for Manchester United to have conceded this many goals. That is a worry. That's a big problem, and it's something that Ole Gunnar needs to address. And I'm absolutely sure and convinced that he is addressing it.
How?
Well, I think he needs to sign a few defenders. I think the way that Manchester United likes to play and the way that I think they should play, you need proper fullbacks. You can't have, you know, reformed wingers playing. Not that Ashley Young's not done well, but you need someone who as a first priority, kind of a Gary Neville kind of type, who can defend ruthlessly, but at the same time he can support attack, put crosses in, overlap, and still have the engine to come back. I think we need to sign a centre half. I think even Mourinho was trying last summer to sign a centre half. I think it's been obvious that the club for a very long time has needed someone who can lead that defence, and that I think will be priority, and then you can start, you know, thinking about what to do further up the pitch. But I think that's where you begin.
Problems then for Manchester United, but let's not forget 2-0 down at half-time against Manchester City at the Etihad last season, and somehow managed to come back when nobody gave them a chance to win 3-2. They'd settle for that once again here this evening.
Where are Manchester United going to get these defenders from that Peter Schmeichel says they need?
yeah, that's what we discussed, you know, this now as well. I mean, it's easy to say, yeah, just get a couple of defenders, or top defenders. But if you have the choice as a top defender in 5 top clubs in Europe, are you really going to choose United at this moment? No, I don't think so. I mean, we see it with our prospect in Ajax, De Ligt. He have a choice to go anywhere. Why should he take United? Why should he pick United at this moment?
You say Europe, Nigel. How about England? Would United be first choice if Spurs or City? Liverpool came calling?
City would be ideal, by the way.
Yeah.
That would be perfection for perfection.
Isn't that what's happened? Isn't that a measure of the decline that's taken place?
It is. You know, it is shifting. You know, the balance is shifting between United and City, and also England. If you talk about English defenders right now, if they have a choice, it is really hard to make the decision to choose for United at this moment. If you have the opportunity to go to City, it just depends, obvious, who's in the squad at this moment.
It's a footballer now, and I think it would to us. It's not just the club you have to take into consideration. It's who's in charge of that club, who's the coach of that club. And if you look at City, would you play for Guardiola? Yes. Would you play for Klopp? Yes. Would you play for Pochettino? Yes. You know, way before, and with great respect to Ole, he's only a novice at this level right now. Way before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I think that's so important. It might not seem it, but a figurehead at a big club is a hugely important thing. Players went to Manchester United because Alex Ferguson was there. Players went there because Mourinho was there, because they wanted to work with these players, these bosses, as well as play for that club. And they haven't got that just yet.
And here is the Manchester United manager.
Ollie, 5 changes from Sunday. Tell us about the reaction.
Well, we'll see on the pitch. We've talked enough, and I've said enough, players have said enough, and we just need to get a performance on the pitch. Of course, the players are disappointed, hurt. The pride, when you lose games like we did, is always taking a hit.
How much of a gamble is wholesale changes like that?
Well, 2 were forced, or a couple were forced, so we had so it's not too many. We had a decision to make before the game on what shape we wanted to do, and that's the shape we went with, and then that meant changes.
Despite this being a derby and looking to show a reaction from Sunday as well, how key is it that your players play with composure tonight if you want to get something out of this?
Well, in a derby you need loads of composure, you need desire, you need attitude, but it might be heated out there as well, so you might have to just, as you say, compose yourself, get the ball down, play, because we know City are the best team in the country keeping the ball. They do have the possession, so we need to try to play when we can as well.
More than 3 points, what would a win give you tonight?
Let's talk about after, but of course every footballer, we're human beings, we're not robots, and performances and results always give confidence and boost. So when you lose a game you take a knock, when you win a game you're confident after. So we're focused on a good performance, well concentrated, stay in the game of course, get the crowd behind us, try to get a few chances early on, and the first goal always is important in these games.
Thanks, Ollie.
Thank you.
Stay in the game.
Change, no, Old Trafford. I remember when.
Yeah.
It's different, yeah?
It used to be the other way around.
It used to be the other way around. You want to stay in the game.
Stay in the game.
As long as
possible. With a cup of tea and an orange at half time, I'll be delighted.
I know.
It is hard. Although the home record is good, in fairness.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 loss to Spurs early in the season.
No.
It was a big defeat, lost 3-0 I think on the night. Yeah, and they've only lost, the other games have lost Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona, Juventus. So that's the calibre that have beaten them there. But
You're a
City
great one for tradition.
Calibre.
I can't put this to the boys because they've probably never heard of the Cliff. It was the original training HQ. Solskjaer said back to basics this week, take the boys for a reality check to the Cliff, where Charlton and Best and Law and Crerand and these legends. See, your thoughts on that are what?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not so sure that the modern day footballer would be hugely impressed with it. I don't know. I mean, what I am staggered, Richard, that a coach newly in who's supposed to have lifted the place and put it back to where it was under Sir Alex has had to resort to taking these players away from their natural habitat of the training complex to Carrington, the old training complex that they had under Sir Alex. I don't know. We'll see tonight if it's helped them in any way. I don't know. But I was going to ask the lads if I can. In many ways, do you think for City, has that defeat that they suffered at Everton, that embarrassment, the criticism that followed from everywhere, from fans, from the staff, has that made City's job tonight more difficult? What I'm saying is, if United had won 4-0 at Everton, there's a chance that they might not play tonight, they might not be as... But surely they have to turn up after the criticism.
City, you mean, or United?
No, United.
Yeah, United, yeah.
So therefore, maybe more difficult for City than it would have been.
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think for City, just to take it as another game, regardless of United have won or lost against Everton, 100%.
No, I understand what Andy is saying, because sometimes you don't pay that attention to this game as now that everybody's going to be watching.
Everyone's watching, and they've had so much criticism, the players.
I think today when we watch the game all over the world, I think people is going to be more watching about the reaction of the Manchester United players. than the game itself, because we know what City is.
That's why I
do.
said. That's why I think what you said as well. That's why I think there's more pressure on United than on City.
Okay.
So for
By
City,
the way,
it doesn't really matter if they want to.
I know the cliff fairly well from having worked in that part of the world, and the car park there is not necessarily gracious. I would have thought that Pogba was probably more concerned about bumping his roller there.
He won't go
than he
to
was anything
training
else.
in a Rolls Royce.
Really?
No, he won't.
Why would he not?
He'll be in a club car.
Well, would he really?
be. I can't
You know
tell.
full well that the club cars have been rejected by the boys.
Have they?
It's the ambassadors that drive
really?
the club cars. Oh, yeah.
Since when is this?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
they don't. The
Some
boys are
inside
not that bothered
information.
about driving the club cars.
Unbelievable.
Right. So you don't think there's enough space on the parking lot?
I think the car park is very tight. It's not a generous car park.
And it's a difficult because they
Dennis Law definitely did not drive a Rolls Royce. I can confirm that.
Right.
It was a
He
Ford
did
Escort.
drive great big chasms through defences.
Here is the City boss, Pep Guardiola.
Pep, fantastic 10 wins in a row. It sounds simple, but how much is the task? Just to simply keep doing what you're doing.
Well, the last 4 games we have, so what we have done, not the last 10 games, all the season is incredible good, but we know the reality, so we have an opponent incredible results as well. So, and coming here in Old Trafford to, the only one result it works is win-win. It's not easy. But always the idea, since we are together 3 years ago, prepare every game to try to win, and we're going to try.
Do you treat this any differently because it's a derby?
No. It's that is easy games because the players should be so focused, and the United players too. Every derby is special, and just to prepare what they can do, what we can do to try to beat them.
The 3 players you've brought into the team tonight, Da Silva, Fernandinho and Vincent Kompany, as well as their ability, does their experience count this evening?
Yeah, of course. It's a special game and it's important, yeah, of course. But I just had for this one. So the selection always I think a lot, what is the best, this side or the other side, this player or the other player. But at the end, if you had to choose for another one, I would trust the same guys. And today I put in the start 11.
Ultimately, what do you think you've got to do tonight to get all 3 points?
Be ourselves. They are going to start so strong for their people because after 1 defeat 4-0, you make an extra. And line-up showed me that. So a lot of players, a lot of commitment in terms of defensive side and work, close both sides. And that's the respect. Rashford, Lingard runs in behind. So that is the game we expect.
Thanks, Pep.
You're very welcome.
Goal early at the weekend, of course, after all the drama.